Evening, everyone. I'd like to call to order the Planning Commission meeting for Monday, October 17th, 2022. We'll get a quick roll call. Commissioner Nias,
Present.
Commissioner Beisel. Present. Commissioner Borka.
Present.
Vice Chairman Nickerson. Present. I am here. We have 5 members here. By order of the bylaws, we can enact any business for the town. Next, we want to do an adoption of the agenda. Quick vote for the adoption. The agenda should be in front of everyone. Commissioner Nias,
Approve.
Commissioner Beidle,
Approved.
Commissioner Borka,
Approved.
Vice Chairman Nickerson. Approved. And I approve the minutes 5-0. Next item on the agenda is the approval of the minutes from the meeting for September 12th, 2022. You should have that in front of you again. Real quick vote. Commissioner Nias,
Approve.
Commissioner Beisel,
Approved.
Commissioner Borka,
Approved.
Vice Chairman Nickerson. Approved. And I approve the minutes for the meeting from September 12th, 2022 have been approved. We have one action item on the agenda for today. I want to ask town staff for the introduction for the item of the agenda to approve the ordinance submitted by Colonial Downs.
Thank you so much, Chairman. So tonight before you, I'm presenting a comprehensive sign plan application from Colonial Downs LLC. Next slide, please. As I said before, the application before you was submitted by Colonial Downs LLC for the project called The Rose, as you all know. In some, just a quick overview of the application for the comprehensive sign plan. There are 53 total signs, 7 total electronic signs from my recollection, and there are 12 different sign types, including banner signs, which are the majority. There are 32 of those total going to be throughout the site, as well as vehicular, directional, and vehicular ID signs. Also, there's going to be building mounted signs, as well as 1 monument sign that will be out front on the Colonial and main intersection, as well as 2 electronic display signs as well. Just overview the application. It is in your packet as well. At the very end, I believe it'll be page 28 or so, around there. I can't remember correctly. Next slide, please. Again, this is a very straightforward application. There's not much to go over besides pointing to the staff report, as well as the pertinent criteria for the evaluation for the comprehensive sign plan. Next slide, please. Which is up there, which is currently on the screen, but it's also in the staff report as well. I will just read. We'll read for those who may be watching at home. The criteria: one is to assist motorists, bicyclists, and/or pedestrians in finding a location without difficulty or confusion. Clearly identify places of business or communities while avoiding unnecessary redundancy. Demonstrating compatibility with and to be subordinate to the structures and land use references by the sign. Address light pollution impacts with night sky friendly equipment and operations. 5, incorporate energy efficient measures where possible. 6, provide a sufficient number of graphic messages or displays without creating competing demands for visual attention. Minimize impacts on the stored properties if applicable to the site. Next slide, please. So just a quick analysis, which is included in the staff report as well. But 1, the signs will be compatible with the scale of the uses on the site. It's a 91-acre site approximately. So the fact that there are 53 signs on there does make sense with the size and the scale of the entire site. 2, the site will not be visually cluttered with signage. as shown in the comprehensive sign package application, the locations of all signs can be pinpointed on sheet 2 of the comprehensive sign package application, as well as page 8 or sheet 8. My apologies. And then 3, each sign is located at a specific site to serve a specific purpose, whether it be to identify the location or directing the patrons through the site, and identifying the entrance to not only the public park that will be on site, but also to the facilities on site, whether it be the parking garage, the hotel, the gaming facility, or the cultural arts center. But it will also aid for placemaking and marketing purposes for the site. 4, the light pollution will be addressed by using night sky friendly equipment. 5, and the applicant has designed the monument sign to be consistent with the location of the sign in the historic overlay district, as talked about and discussed at the previous public hearing for the zoning text amendments. Comprehensive sign plans are exempt from going through the certificate of appropriateness process. All the applicants who have signs that are located in the historic overlay district in regards to a comprehensive sign plan application would be heard by planning commission and town council. So we feel that the input from not only planning commission and town council is sufficient enough, but also staff has asked that they include the historic, include some sort of historic architecture / brick aesthetic that will be in line with the ARB design guidelines. And staff was pleased to see the design of the sign on the corner of Colonial Main. The applicant has also offered to mitigate any impacts the electronic sign would have on the Williams Ordinary site. It is catty corner from the site, but they in discussing with Prince William County, who owns that site, they are open to having trees / vegetation installed in the side yard across from the sign to block any of that light. But they actually were very pleased with the design of the sign as well. They said that they enjoyed the architecture of the sign base as well. And we're very open to collaborating with Colonial Downs to address any issues. Next slide, please. With everything that I just said included, staff recommends that the planning commission recommend approval to the town council for this comprehensive sign plan application CSP 2022-001. That's all I have for you all tonight. If you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them. But thank you again.
Good. Want to I want to make sure, do we have the applicant here for that?
Yes, we do.
Okay. All right, I want to call forth the applicant before we open it up to other public
Yep.
forum.
Yep.
For that. All right. Thank you, ma'am. Just state your name for the record.
Sure. My name is Molly Novotny. I'm an urban planner with the law firm Cooley, and we represent Colonial Downs Group on this application.
Okay.
I do have a PowerPoint. It's brief, and I'm happy to overview it with you unless, okay, great. So, next slide. So again, my name is Molly Novotny. I was here before you a little more than a year ago when we got the overall project approved. Just to remind everyone where it is, the access point is off of Main Street in Colonial. It's about a 93-acre site. And given the size and the scope of that site is really why we are here before you requesting this sign plan. And we are also really only able to be here because of the work you have done in the past month to approve the process for that comprehensive sign plan. So we appreciate all that work that you've already done. Next slide. This slide shows the freestanding signs. All of those freestanding signs are going to be located along the entrance road to the property. There's a total of 12 of those freestanding signs. I'll go through them. And then there are additionally signs that will be banners affixed to light poles along that road. So although Nick gave the number of 53 total signs, it's really 12 freestanding signs, 9 building mounted signs, and then 32 banners along light poles. So I just want to put y'all at ease that it's not nearly that many freestanding signs. Next slide. This is our main entrance sign. It's going to be a V-shaped sign, so you'll be able to view it from both directions as you're traveling along Colonial. It has an LED component that allows us to really generate some excitement for the facility, to let people know what performer is going to be there or what's happening at the facility. That component of the sign is about 100 square feet, which is what the ordinance allows. Next slide. These are the vehicular identification and directional signs. They also have those LED components, at least the one on the left does, because that allows us to change to say, hey, come see this performer, or to highlight, a promotion that may be going on at the facility. And they'll be located throughout that entrance road, kind of one after the next. So you'd see one identification sign, and then you'd see a directional sign. Next, and the light post banners were on the right there. Next slide. So these are the building mounted signs, of which there are 9 of them. And I'll just go through them and kind of orient you where they are to help familiarize yourselves. Next slide. Well, actually, can you go back one slide? The parking garage is the long rectangle part of that you see here on the screen. The hotel is the gray box at the top of the screen, and the gaming facility is the white area in between. 95 is at the top of the screen, just to help orient everyone. Next slide. So this shows the building mounted signs that will be on the hotel. So we'll have the rose, which will be on 2 facades of the hotel. It's that rose and stem that you see on the left. And it actually really helps with the building architecture. It's going to be a critical component of the hotel architecture. And then the sign, the rose, will be below the roof line, but kind of at the roof line along the side facing 95 to alert passersby that this is the facility. Next slide. This is the southern facade, the northern garage facade of the facility. And it just, as people circle around that garage, this alerts them to, hey, you're entering the garage and this is where you do the valet and check-in. This would be that entrance. And there are 3 separate signs kind of all co-located together there. Next slide. This is a southern garage facade. So as you're driving into the facility, this is going to be your first view. There's a large LED component sign that would be on that facade. I want to be very clear. The space is south, so it faces the entrance road. It is not facing any residential properties. Additionally, we've got a VIP parking sign that also faces south, as well as the rose kind of entrance monument arch sign there. Next slide. And with that, I'm happy to answer any questions. We've worked very well with staff, and we have some updated materials dated October 14th that we've submitted and include all of the information for you. Happy to answer questions.
Sure. Thank you. Opening up for questions. Commissioner Nias, any questions?
I just want to confirm, when I driving for the main street, is that your new entrance or it will be the future entrance?
That will be the only entrance on Colonial and Main Street to the property. We won't have access on the east side of the property.
There's no 22, 3, 4 entrance anymore.
Correct. This was all done as part of the zoning approval, that it was always from that street. And so, correct, that's how you access the property.
That's my only question.
Okay.
Thank you.
Commissioner Beisel, any questions?
No questions.
Commissioner Borka?
Appreciate the read ahead, staff, outstanding job with the package together, getting it to us, as well as the revisions in time for us to read it in advance. Thank you.
Vice Chairman Nickerson, any questions?
Yeah, I have a couple. Just so I'm clear on the one entrance, I know the main entrance will be on Colonial Main. That side over there, which used to be the entrance to the dump, will that be accessible for emergencies? Will there be entrances that where deliveries may be coming in and
It's
out?
an emergency only entrance over there.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. And the second question, I noticed you said, this on the south side of the garage, there would be no signs facing residences. But
Yep.
then I read in this one sentence in the package, it says the signs located on the south side of the parking garage can be seen from the residential properties neighboring. So that kind of,
Yeah, so that, I'll let Nick answer that because I think that's in a staff report. But
okay,
there are some the neighbors are on our east. And if you look at that facade of the wall, there are no signs that face out. There are some signs adhered there that face south. And so they may be able to see the side of the sign, but they're not seeing there's no direct signage in front of them. And all of our signs that we're directing are to the south, but happy to have Nick jump in. And did I cover it?
Yeah.
Okay.
I can also come over.
go ahead, go ahead.
Thank you, Molly. Yeah, that's a great question. So if you go to, it is the third to final page in your packet. So you would, that is where I came up with that, assumption, but it is because of the angle and the slope of the hill and the location. So but you would own if you're in the if the neighbors would only be able to see partially up the hill, be able to see the Rose sign that's on top of the parking garage, but it's at a very the angle is very, very sharp, so it won't occur. It's not going to be a common occurrence per se. And then with trees and other aspects there, there's going to be a retaining wall and also a fence. Very unlikely they'll be able to see the sign. If anything, they might see some pollution from the light, but staff feels that they have addressed that the applicant has addressed this at this point. And with the again, with the size of the site, this is where the parking garage is. It was, it's going to occur at this location with the angle at which everything's located.
Right, no problem. I understand that. I wasn't against it either way. I just know how, some of our residents are and have been in relation to this. So I could see that being an issue if it was any, discrepancies.
Agreed. And that's why I wanted to point that out on the staff report. If anything, it's a very slight chance that they would be able to see it, the actual sign. But again, the pollution from the light might it won't bleed out that far. So if you get, and to kind of support that, if you go again to the following page, so SE1- or SE1.01, that'll show where the light pollution will be. So again, not anything that would drastically impact the neighboring sites. It was something that I felt I should point out. So.
Sure, you good?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Thank you for the report. I do appreciate the good work there. And my question, if you will, was related to the nits for the level of nits for the nighttime. It's just that maybe we could have the option to revisit the levels, because I know we had that issue with the elementary school with their electronic signage being too bright at one point. So maybe it's something that we could revisit after opening, if we get, complaints or whatever from residents saying that light is intrusive.
Totally understand. And that's one of the things as a part of the application, they asked that the nits be 600 nits at being emitted from the sign, but so that it would only be 100 nits at the property line. So that way that they'll try to mitigate any issues with that light bleeding over into the property. I don't know if that's Molly, if you want to.
And I'll just chime in to let you know that all of our lights are dimmable.
Okay.
And so we will dim them at sunset, between sunset and sunrise, to be at those levels that Nick just described. And so at that property line, it's no more than 100 nits. It could be even less, but they're would be dimmable beyond that if it becomes necessary.
Okay.
We just want to make sure that we don't dim them too much that it becomes awkward.
Sure.
And
Sure,
thanks.
Sure. All right. No other questions from Planning Commission. I do need to open it up for public hearing at 7:20 with no one from the public. Public hearing is closed at 7:20. Again, staff, thank you for the staff report. Want to open forum for the commissioners. Commissioner Nias, anything?
No,
Commissioner Beisel?
No, just this is a very detailed plan, so I appreciate that. So thank you.
Commissioner Borka, any comments?
No comments.
Vice Chairman Nickerson?
No comment.
All right, I have no comments. Want to open, someone make a motion to approve the signing plan as presented by staff. Want to make a motion?
I'll make motion.
Second?
Support.
All right. So Commissioner Borka,
Aye.
Commissioner Beisel?
Approve.
Commissioner Nias?
proof.
Chair, Vice Chairman Nickerson?
Approve.
And I approve the signage, signing plan has been approved 5-0. Anything else from town staff?
I do not have anything else tonight.
All right.
Thank you all for attending, of course.
Want to make a motion to adjourn?
Motion,
All right, in a second.
A second.
Quick vote, Commissioner Borka? Approve. Commissioner Beisel?
Approve.
Commissioner Nias?
approve.
Vice Chairman Nickerson?
Approve.
I approve. The meeting is adjourned at 7:23.